Everybody, welcome to this special edition of Pop-Up Discussions. I want to first thank you all for joining me and Miss LaToya tonight. We're going to be discussing all things taxes. So before we get started, I want you guys to go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments. Say hello. Let us know what city, what state you're checking in from. You can go ahead and start dropping your questions in there that you have for Miss LaToya. She's going to be joining us tonight. I only have her for about an hour. So while we have her attention, while we have the pro, while we have the expert here, we got to make sure that we get all your questions answered, all right? You guys know me. Even though I work in event marketing, I am a big advocate for making sure I prepare you guys for creating multiple streams, for setting you up financially, financial literacy, as well as taxes, as well as becoming your own business and entrepreneurship. So this aspect is extremely important with regards to taxes, with regards to understanding how to file taxes, how to be a reputable LLC, how to make sure you pay Uncle Sam what you need to pay him, and also just make sure that you are staying in compliance from a standpoint of today's economy with the pandemic and everything and loans that we got going on. We got a lot to cover, y'all. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Miss LaToya. If you could, go ahead, Miss LaToya, introduce yourself. For those who may not know you, may not have any idea of your background, let them know, how long you've been doing taxes and your expertise in this area.
Oh, wow. So my name is LaToya James. I've been doing taxes, for a long time. Actually, I started it back in college. And it's a little story behind it that I'll tell you, but I've been doing taxes for a long time. I actually have a engineering degree. So my major, I went to Ohio State. So my major is industrial engineering. And then taxes was just something that I picked up on the side. And it was mainly just a college hustle initially because I went to H&R Block and they charged me like $300 to do my taxes. And I'm like, I'm a college student. That's a lot when you're 18. And so I literally went home and I learned how to do it myself. And I've been doing it ever since then. And I'm like in my 40s. So let's just tell you how long that I've been doing taxes. So I'm not new to this. I'm definitely true to this. I've learned from the best and I've been doing it for a long time. So yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. First, I want to ask you, what are some things or some mistakes that people make with regards to taxes and understanding taxes as a whole?
Really, when you're a W-2 employee, to be honest, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you really can't go wrong. You got a W-2, you got a kid, you should be able to do your taxes rightfully so by yourself. But a lot of times when you get into these tax forms, because the tax laws change every year, what happens is they'll have questions on there that you're not necessarily familiar with. Now, myself, we have tax training classes like fourth quarter. So a lot of times we already kind of know some of the things that are getting ready to come out. So we're kind of familiar with, the tax terms, all the new laws, maybe the new forms that you may not necessarily be privy to because you didn't take a tax class. Not that it's hard or anything, but I'm just saying we try to stay abreast of everything that's happening. I think mainly it's just the questions. They can be tricky. If you aren't really, how can I say this? I don't want to say educated, but if that's not really your thing, then it may be something that you're going to answer wrong. I've seen many people get audited just off of answering one question wrong. And they put a yes where it should have been a no. So that's really the main thing. Now, the trick really comes in when you have business taxes. And that's when you need to really educate yourself on what you can and cannot do when it comes to tax preparation. There's a lot of things that people don't know that they can claim. And a lot of times you end up shorting yourself on an opportunity to file something that could help you reduce your taxable income. Because at the end of the day, that's the name of the game. You know how like our ex-president only paid $750? Well, that's because everything that he does is a write-off. You know, everything that he do, everything about his life, his whole lifestyle, when he gets up in the morning, or whatever he's doing, somehow that's a business transaction. And he's learned that, okay, well, I made these millions, but everything about me is a business. I'm a walking business. So therefore, if I go eat, that's a business transaction. If I go buy this car, that's a business transaction. Whatever it is that I do is always business. So therefore, when I claim I made, $100,000 this year, well, I spent so much on my business transactions, honey. I only have, maybe
Oh
made
no.
because I had all these expenses. And so that's kind of how people that have businesses are able to, I don't want to call it, because you're not taking advantage of this, but that's how you're able to leverage the system to cause you to not pay as much taxes on your income. So
Okay, then that's great information. So, what made you start your company, AccuTax Pros?
what made me start my company was, it really it's always been me. It's always been me for many, many years. And I've always just kind of worked alone. And I wanted to, at one point, I said, you know what? What if I really truly took this to the next level? I know a lot of friends that are in accounting, and I have a lot of friends that are really good with numbers that I felt like could be a good asset to the company. So with that being said, I really took the summer that just passed, since we was in COVID. I said, let me figure out how to really take this business to another level. I started doing the research, looking to see what the requirements were for the IRS, figuring out how to have a virtual business without having a brick and mortar, but still, being able to tap into the everywhere. Have employees. I got employees in, I got staff in the Carolinas. I got people in Ohio. I got staff members here in Georgia. They're all over. Like I got somebody in oh God, I think somebody in Texas. I got staff members everywhere, but collectively we all work under one roof. But I needed to figure out how that would all work. And so that's what I did over the summer months. And then I just kind of just put it out there. I never said I was hiring, which is the best part of this all. I had literally 4 of my friends come to me and said, I want to do taxes with you this year. And I'm like, really? And it's like, yeah, no, I'm serious. I want to learn. I want to be a part of the team. And I said, and then I ended up doing a podcast on TK Kirkland. Again, never once said that I was hiring at all. Next thing I know, some more people joined my team, and some more people joined my team. And it's only been, I think, 60 days. And I think it's like 16 of us now. That's how many people. And I never once posted that I was hiring. Never. So I was like, okay, well, thanks God for this. I'm not gonna, I'm happy to have them. Please pour into me. I don't know why into me. I'm not gonna question it, but I'm happy to have the people that I have. I'm happy that the company is booming. And as of now, yes, I am hiring. So if anybody wants to, will publicly say that now. Yes, I want more people to join the team because things are looking bright, and I'm really excited to have a company out there that's able to work with people and really educate taxes, leveraging the ability for leveraging small business companies and making sure that you're fully educated on what it is that you can and cannot write off. Also bringing a company that's not only it's black owned, I'm sorry, but it is. Just seeing like a lot of brown faces, especially this all started off as all women, which was like the bomb, because it was like a really big deal for me. I'm super excited about that. But yeah, things have just been looking up. So I'm excited to just keep going and see where things could go. Hopefully, we'll be 100 and 200 strong by next year. At least that's what I would love to see. Because it's easy for me to continue to grow virtually, especially now. It's like you try to think out of the side of the box, right? Because at first it was like, okay, I need to have a brick and mortar. I got to go get this building and go sit in it. Well, no, we don't have to do that anymore. You have Zooms. You have, like in this case, StreamYard. You have all these different outlets which allow you to be able to reach out to people that you wouldn't otherwise. I got customers in California, customers in, I have somebody in Oklahoma, Omaha, South Dakota. I got customers everywhere. But because of these type of services, I'm able to service them long distance, and they don't never have to come to me, and they still get the same interpersonal interview that they would as if they were sitting in front of my face. But now not only is it virtual, but it's also safe, so they don't have to worry about being out. They don't got to worry about COVID. They don't got to worry about anything, and they still get to talk to a live person. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm
And
excited.
that's
I love
awesome,
it.
awesome testimony. So let's go ahead and talk about COVID in this pandemic. So how, so for individuals who may have lost their jobs or may have been gig or independent contractors, what are some things from a tax perspective that they need to be on the lookout for? I know we had stimulus checks come in. We've got three stimulus checks now, totaling 12, 14, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
About 3,000, what, 30, over $3,000, close to three.
Yeah.
Can't do the math. But yeah, we've gotten stimulus checks.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of money has been pumped into the economy in the last year. So we got SBA loans,
Yeah.
the EIDL loans, the PPP loans that are potentially can be forgiven if you follow the right rules. So what are some things that individuals that need to keep in mind if they are receiving this free money? Is it really free?
So right. You gotta make it's all systems. So you gotta make sure you're doing it right. So first and foremost, just to touch on like the individuals. Obviously, due to COVID, like you said, a lot of money has been pumped into the economy. So, all the stimulus checks has been given out. One thing I will tell you for sure is if you haven't received your funds, you need to make sure that you tell your tax preparer to claim that on your tax return. Now, for right now, there's only the first and second one that you can actually file. So if you missed the 1,200 and the 600, if you didn't get any of that, we can add that to your tax return, and then they'll push it to you to make sure that you're funded, and then you'll get the 1,400. Because for some reason, I got people that got the first one and not the second one, but the third one, it's like all over the place. So I don't know how that ended up happening, but it is something that we can fix. So that's first and foremost. If you didn't get the money, make sure that you file it. Even if you didn't work, you still are eligible just to get, it's called a recovery rebate. So you can still go in and just file a recovery rebate. You can say, I'm unemployed. This is my name, my social security number. Here's my direct deposit. You can go on a website and you can still get your $1,800. Obviously you can come to me, I can help you with that, but I try to get people, because it's something so simple to file. It's what tax websites out there, there's zero filing, especially if you're just doing a federal return. One of my favorites is Free Tax USA. I use them a lot. You can go on there if you're just doing a federal return. You can go on there, put your information in, your name, social security number, address, and you can file the $1,800 and it's $0, and you can get it put it in your account. Because if you come to me, I have a processing fee. So and minimal is $15, and then obviously my fees. So I don't want to take anything from you that you can go off and get and do on your own. It's a very simple process. Even down to people, elderly. You got people that are incarcerated. They're also eligible. So if you have a loved one that, don't have the ability to get this access to this money, you can make sure that they do get it. You got to figure out, I don't know if you have access to their bank account, but, one of my cousins, he actually had an account, and I was able to file his stuff. I put his money, his account, I have access to it. I got him a food box, put money on his books or whatever it is that they need. We got family that, they went to the left and they should have went right, but it's okay. We still love them nonetheless, and they need help too. So you want to make sure, and then plus you get them $3,000. That's less money you got to help them with. You might as well get them the money that's deserving to them. That, that's a good, maybe carry on for like a couple of years when you don't got to worry about the phones and you don't got to worry about making sure they got money to eat or whatever it is that they need. You can do that with these funds because that's what it's for. Now the other thing is too, there's a lot of there's another return, and I know you didn't mention this, but I'll talk about it anyway. We have the qualified sick. It's the sick and family. God, I can't even get it out. But it's the form 7202, and basically what it is for this qualified sick leave. And in the event that you were off due to COVID, you had a small business, because it doesn't work for everybody. So don't think you got to go on here and get this money because you just gonna put it in. You're not. But if you have a small business and your business was shut down due to COVID, you are able to claim this form, and essentially you'll get up to 10 days of pay. It's an average rate that they use, but you'll get up to 10 days of extra pay on your taxes. If you had to take care of somebody, maybe a spouse, you get another 10 days for being offered that. And if your kids were out of school, couldn't go to daycare, or they were home for whatever reason and they couldn't go back to school, but then you get 50 days per kid. 50. So I've seen people's returns go from like maybe $6,000 to like $12,000 because of the amount of money that you're able to get for, the Qualified Sick and Family Leave Act for people who were out due to COVID. So make sure you ask about that too. So that's a 7202. The recovery rebate, we touched on that. The other thing is too, a lot of people took money out for retirement. So if you took money out for retirement, there is also a form, it's called the 8915. So in the 8915 is basically for people who have the 8915 is for people who took out retirement. So me, myself, I also still work a corporate job. I do that by day. So with my corporate job, they ended up cutting our pay 20%. They ended up cutting our pay 20%. But then you had the 401k companies. In this case, mine was Fidelity, which allowed us to go ahead and pull retirement money without being penalized. So for me, myself, I was like, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? And they like, yes, you can do that. So I ended up pulling like $30,000 and I wasn't penalized at all. So there's a form, it's called the 8915. It's the 8915E, and that's the number of the form. But with the 8915E, they basically will they'll reduce the penalty. If not, you won't have a penalty at all, but they will reduce it to little or nothing if you say that this was qualified due to COVID reasons. So that's something else you want to look into. Now, the other thing that you talked about now, as far as like all the other money that's being pumped into the economy, yes, you do have the SBAs, you have the PPPs, you have all these other things that are also out there eligible for you to, receive funding due to, obviously COVID reasons, reason why a lot of us don't have, our businesses have been strained. The EIDL, we'll talk about that one first. That one definitely is a loan. It was $150,000 max that you could get. They have recently increased it to $500,000 starting April 7th. I think it's April 6th. I know next week you can get up to $500,000 if you qualify. The interest rate on that is 3.75%. If you have a nonprofit, I believe it's like 1.75, if I'm not mistaken. So you get a reduced interest rate. In addition to that, now this does have to be paid back, but the payments don't start for 12 months. Now there isn't a prepayment penalty. So let's say you get the money, and let's say your business is doing great. You invested it back into your company. You're able to pay this money back in 12 months. You're like, you know what? I done made $500,000. Business is back booming. I'm good. There's no prepayment penalty. So what you do is you give them their money back at the end of that 12 months. So you don't pay no interest. Okay, you take advantage of the fact that you got 12 months of interest free, and you really take that money and truly invest it into your business so that you're able to get the biggest bang for your buck. That's how you utilize that money. Don't utilize it and sit on it. You don't want it to be a loan. That's not your goal. Your goal is not to sit on this money like, yeah, I got $100,000 in the bank. Yeah, but you're gonna start paying payments on it too. So that's not the goal. So I always tell my customers, when you get this money, you take this money, you invest this money, you flip this money, you put it in your business, you give it back, and that way you never pay a day of interest. Now, the other loan that we have, and again, start next week. So if you haven't applied for it yet, don't rush to go do it now, because you might as well wait till next week when they've increased it to $500,000. So you might as well just wait. Might as well wait. Don't even take the 150 now. The other thing is that they have is the PPP. So a lot of people are familiar with the PPP. It's then came back. It was here last year, and a lot of people missed out on it. They only gave the money until they ran out. Well, they brought it back again now this year. And initially, when they started it, they only allowed you, if you missed the first round, if you got the first round, you got two. But if you missed the first round, you was just basically SOL, but you could get the second. Now they changed it where if you only got the second, you still, now you get two. Whoever was first got two, you get two, everybody get two. So they didn't change it. Somebody didn't change it across the board where no matter if you missed it the first time or not, you still eligible for both, no matter what. So that's what he's able to do. Now the PPP is 100% forgivable as long as you allocate the funds. As long as you allocate the funds properly. All right. So you get 60%. 60% of it has to be paid in payroll. Okay. And that means you have to pay yourself actually 60% of the money. Now, the average person gets like $20,000. And that's about the average if you don't have any employees. If you have employees, then obviously you get even more money. Okay. Now you got to be able to prove that. Now, and then when I say employees, I don't mean all your family that you didn't hire to do work for you on the side. I'm talking about you have W-2 employees. They pay Medicare, Social Security. They pay federal taxes, state taxes. Them are legit employees that you maybe have on ADP or paycheck systems that you didn't pay, and they're actually employees, not 1099 employees. If you have those, you can prove that you can get more money. And it's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of forms that I don't want to get into, but you'll be able, whoever you're using your paycheck systems through, they'll be able to give you your average income that you have, and you can take that and you'll be able to apply for more money. Now that again, it's 100% forgivable. 60% of that has to be paid to you. So in this case, we'll just use me and you, and we'll use my business. I have 16 employees, but they're mainly 1099. So when I did mine, I'm not able to file them. So the max that I'm able to receive is $20,000, $20,832 to be exact. We're gonna be exact. 60% of that has to be paid. If you pay yourself 59%, it will not be forgiven. So you need to do 60%. Period. And they tell you that don't do 2% less. Don't put 49. No, it's 60-40. That's it. So that's 12,000, basically $12,500 that I have to pay myself.
I was about to do the math.
Oh, yeah, got to pay myself. So when I pay myself, I literally write myself a check. You can do it. I said I wanted to spend the money within an 8-week time frame. So I write myself a check every Friday for $1,562, and I deposit that into my account. Okay. Now the other 40%, you have to use it on expenses to your business. You have to use it on expenses to your business. So that could be, in my case, I have a home-based business, so I can use it on my interest to my mortgage. So half of my mortgage, in this case, not half, but almost half is enough. That's we'll give you an example. So $2,000. All right, my interest is $950. So I pay $950 from them. I pay the remaining amount, and they basically pay half my mortgage a month because I have a home-based business. If you were in a brick and mortar, then you can use it to pay the rent there. You can use it to pay the utilities there. You can use it for all of the things, anything that's pertaining to your business. So it gets kind of a little tricky, but you just want to make sure that you use it on supplies and materials and different things that are pertaining to your business. That's how you get it off. And then you, at the end of all of this, you got 10 months to spend the money. I've never been under so much pressure to spend money. So now I have to spend. I'm like, okay, I got to hurry up and write this check because I don't want to mess around and have to pay it back. So I'm like, everybody's like, well, what are you spending on? I'm like, well, I'm gonna find something to spend it on. So you literally have to spend the money on. Once you spend it, then you go ahead and you do your forgiveness, and then all is forgiven and you never pay the money back as long as you did. Now you can't go to the Louis store with the money in your account. So if you do that, then you're going to pay this money back. But if you spend it appropriately, you'll end it up getting forgiven, and that's pretty much it.
So does gas count, like fuel for your vehicle? Does that count? Does any like electronics, like laptops, anything like that for your business, does that count? Does health insurance, like if you want to pay your health insurance or your rent, what does
count?
How about your car note? Does all of that count? Does all?
You got to be really careful because it's still, again, it has to be business expenses. It can't just be, willy-nilly you pay for whatever. But if your car is a part of your business, then absolutely you can. So you got to be really careful with that. Now, you also can, like what you were saying, like your healthcare, that's included. Your healthcare, vacation. If you are paying your healthcare out of pocket, self-employment, healthcare out of pocket, then yes, that would be something that you can go ahead and write off. That you can use to pay. And I always tell people, whenever in doubt, Google. You can go right on the SBA website and you can see what it is that they say that you're eligible to go ahead and write off. Or not write off. I'm so used to talking about taxes. What you be eligible to use the money on. I definitely would suggest any type of materials. Like if you needed a new laptop and this is part of your business and it helps you run your business, then that's fair game. That's a business expense. You know what I mean? Just all you got to do is just think about what it is that you're doing for your business that's pertaining to your business, because everybody's business is different. You know what I'm saying? My tax business expenses is going to be different for somebody who has who's a masseuse. You know what I mean? They got something completely different. So I can't say you can't do this thing. They may need to go to an education class. I'm going to maybe need to go to a tax class. We all got different expenses, but as long as it's pertaining to your business, you don't have to worry about anything.
So what's the best way for individuals to stay organized and making sure that these funds are spent properly? So when it's time for you to do your forgiveness, you have all of this in order. Is it best to put this money in a separate account? Is it best to use a debit card? Can they use a credit card and then just pay the credit card bill and show the statement? Like, what's the best ways to go about making sure you have your stuff in order? So when it's time for, a lot of companies haven't opened up their forgiveness application yet, but when it's time for you to be able to apply for forgiveness, they're ready to go.
Okay, so the best way. Okay, so what I'm gonna tell you what Navy Federal did for me, because that's who I got mine through. Even though I applied with my checking account, they put it in my savings account because it's less traffic. So when I go to use the money, I literally write a check to my business checking. I put on here who I'm paying it to and what it's for in the memo, and I transfer that exact amount from my savings to my checking. So it's basically easy for them to see, okay, I seen her. This was the transaction that came out. Every time she wrote a check, this is where it went. Here's the check that says she wrote it to payroll. She wrote it to her mortgage interest, and it's an easy transaction. They can literally see everything because my savings account, I'm not moving anything in and out of there on a regular basis. So instead of me using my debit card where we got to pick and choose what we actually spent, in this case, we don't. It make it a little bit easier to be able to see the funds. So that's what they did on my behalf. So I typically try to tell people, maybe transfer it over to an account that you don't use. So that way, when you are making transactions, you can see it easily. When it comes time for forgiveness, we don't got 20,000 pages that we need to go through. We might only have 1, 2, or 3, and it makes it a little bit simpler to be able to decipher all the transactions that you had to make sure forgiveness easier when it comes time to file.
Okay, good. And for all of my individuals who work, let's talk about unemployment, because I wanted to go back to that, but I wanted you to keep what you were saying. So for the individuals who were receiving unemployment, either because they got furloughed from their job, or maybe because they may have been independent contractors, Uber, Lyft, or any gig workers, and they couldn't work, because of the pandemic, you couldn't do that initially. So many individuals file unemployment. How does that work? I know the taxes, they just put out new tax forms where they made portions of the unemployment tax-free. Am I correct? So how does that work for individuals who were on unemployment or may currently be on unemployment and they're applying for this PPP loan? Can they double dip and get both, or do you have to stop back?
That's kind of tricky, okay? Because technically you're saying you did make money, but here's the thing. The PPP goes off of 2019 and 2020 income. So in the event that you actually had a good year, you could possibly still get the PPP loan based upon the income that you have prior to the actual pandemic. So you still can. It's kind of one of them tricky things, because you don't want to be like, okay, I get all this. Okay, don't get 100,000 from PPP, and then you're still asking for funds from unemployment. So you got to be really, really careful with that. I would highly suggest that you talk to somebody about it. Like if your business was booming in 2019 and it didn't do so well in 2020, if you're going to continue to ask for unemployment funds, meanwhile you're also still paying yourself every week with your PPP funds, you're going to get yourself in a tricky situation where they will take you to court and they will ask for their money back. and they take you to federal court and they do prosecute. So don't think that you're gonna double dip and paying yourself weekly off some money that you just secured from the PPP, and then you turn around and still ask for a request from unemployment. I suggest if you got a person that you work with on a daily basis or a weekly basis, contact them and ask them, is it okay? Because I don't want to tell you, I can't confirm or deny, but I will confirm that the IRS unemployment will prosecute. I know that for a fact. Not me, but I know somebody who's been prosecuted. So I'm letting you know, it is true. They will take you to federal court and ask for their money back. Now, as far as unemployment, now a lot of people got unemployment. And what y'all don't know is that all of it is not tax-free. They will only forgive you, I think it's $10,200. So when you do your taxes and you claim your unemployment, you're gonna pay taxes on that remaining amount. So if you like, yeah, I'm getting all this unemployment, I got $20,000, $30,000, only $10,200 of it, they're gonna let you get off. The other $20,000, if you chose to not pay no taxes and get the money straight out, you're gonna get taxed when you file your income tax. And they don't care about you having no business or none of that. They're gonna reduce your amount of money that you're getting back by that tax. So be careful with that too. So just know that I was highly suggesting you still receiving it, you may want to change it where taxes come out. Because if you don't, you're going to pay it on the back end. So just a kind of a FYI.
Let's take some questions real quick. I have some, but let me grab, we got a lot of questions here. Okay. Let me take these and I'll go back to mine. Okay. We got Lacey from PA. My question is in regards to taxes while using a DBA. So I want you to explain what a DBA is before you answer her question. So for people who don't know. I have an
business.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, it's doing business as, and I'll explain it to you. I have an example, which is myself. I'll give it to you.
Okay. I have an LLC and reading mixed reviews on DBA saying it can be detrimental to your business tax wise. However, in my state is requiring me to get one for my LLC to get a business checking. What are some downsides to a DBA, if any?
Well, I will tell you, there's two parts to this, right? So I have a business. My business on paper is AccuTax LLC because Pros was taken. However, I have a DBA, which is AccuTax Pro. So that's the DBA. That's why I said I can give myself an example. So on my website is AccuTax Pros. Everywhere you go, on my cards is everything. But legally, when I have to file for my business checking, it only says AccuTax. So that's the difference between the actual LLC and your DBA. Technically, you can still get an account with a DBA. I've seen it happen. But to me, and this is just my insight, I prefer to have my business under my business name. Why? Because one, I want to continue to build my business. You can't build up a DBA. You can't you want to be able to get your Dun and Bradley's number, your business credit number up. You can't do that with a DBA. I don't even think you can get a business credit card with a DBA. So it's kind of like, it's a lot of downs. You can use a name, but if you don't legally obtain a name, then you can't legally use it to obtain different things. If you want to buy a car, you can't buy it under a DBA. You can buy a car under your LLC. You could buy a car under your incorporated name, but you can't buy one under a DBA. So you basically you're limiting your ability of what you can really do with your business by not really securing your business name. And to secure a business name don't really cost that much. Like here in Atlanta, it costs maybe $150. I think Ohio's $100. I think Vegas might be the most expensive place I've seen, and that was like $300, $350. California, I think, is $350. But for the most part, that's roughly kind of between $100 and $300, which in the grand scheme of things, if this is something that you're going to do long term, paying that in the short term is nothing. EIN number is cheap. I mean, it's free. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say cheap. It's free. So that ain't something you got to pay for. And then in addition, a lot of people go to Zoom. What's that company called?
LegalZoom.
LegalZoom. Don't go to them. They take your money. They're going to charge you about $600-$700. Honey, what they're paying you to do, you can go do yourself. Go on the Secretary of State for your business. Go in there, do a business search, pay, and then go right on the Google EIN, IRS, get an EIN number. It takes you 2 minutes and it's free. Now you're done. Instead of paying somebody to go do that for you, you should never do that. I know all of us like, well, I don't know. I want to make sure it's done right. That's all I did. It cost me $150, and here I am making a whole business in this booming. So don't think, okay, you need LegalZoom to go do anything, because you don't at all. Now, if you just literally, maybe you're not computer literate and you need some assistance, then okay, fine. But even then, I wouldn't suggest it. Ask your niece or nephew or somebody, they can help you get you a business online. That's all you need to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. I mean, that's pretty much the differences between the two. You just you're really limiting yourself by using a DBA, because you want to have your business name. I got cars, I got my business name on. I'm proud of that. Like, I want that. You know what I mean? I just took my daughter to dinner. I said, this is a business dinner. I'm charging it to this card. You know. So yeah.
So someone wants to know what was the form for the COVID leave again? What was the name of the form?
For the 72. Wait a minute. So let me go back. The COVID leave. So okay. So that's only for small businesses, and it's a 7202.
Okay.
7202. Yeah, you get 10 days off of pay. If you had to take care of somebody who had COVID, you get an extra 10, and then you get 50 days for your kids, up to 50 days. If your kids was at home, almost everybody's kid. My daughter's still here. She's been here for a whole year. So I claimed the whole 50 days. She's still here. I'm like, you ain't going back? Like, no, not this year, 2 years. After 2 years. Okay. So yeah, I claimed the whole 50. And when they put it on there next year, I'm gonna claim 50 more because she's still here. So yes.
Someone said, I'm helping a friend who hasn't received any of their 3 stimulus. It was because he hasn't filed since 2016. I was trying to help him file, but he had zero income in 2020. So to clarify what you just said, he could still file and click the option about the rebate to get the stimulus that way. I saw that option listed, and that is what I had intended. However, I was unsure since he had 0 income he could file. So if no one worked, you had 0 income, you can still get the stimulus.
Yeah. All you got to do, like I said, you go online. I would highly suggest that you go on a free tax service. Like I said, most places, my favorite is Free Tax USA. I love them hands down. I use TaxAct, but I don't know if their federal return is free because I use the professional side of it, so I'm not sure. But you go right on there. All you do is, like I said, you put their name, social security number, address. You put go to recovery rebate. And you want to say, I didn't get anything. And I promise you, it's going to pop up. It's going to say 1,800. And then you go in there. You say, I want to file on direct deposit. You put their information in, their routing number, account number, and that's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. It'll probably take you about 10 minutes.
And people with EIN, so LLC versus an SCorp. Can you just, for tax purposes, is there a big difference?
Yes, SCorp. We need to get my partner on the line, Miss Ruby Williams. What is it? Smith Williams? Wait, I can't remember. We need to get Ruby on the phone because Ruby's gonna come over here and tell us about all the SCorp. I do not get involved in SCorp, but I will tell you this: it is 2 different forms. One, when you are incorporated, you have to file an 1120S. I'll tell you that. She do that part. I don't do that part. I'm not well versed in that. Not yet, but I will be next year. Don't you worry. But you got to file 1120S. And then you're going to have a certain amount of losses on that Schedule K1. You then have to file personal taxes and file your Schedule K1, your losses on your personal taxes. So essentially, you file twice. You have to file twice when you do file. SCorp versus SCorp, you have to file twice. LLC, I don't suggest it. If you got an LLC, I just filed my personal with my LLC. I'll give you myself for an example. I have a corporate job, and I also have like 4 different businesses. So I have my company, which is AccuTax. My daughter, Kennedy Blue, check her out, Kennedy Blue Cosmetics. She has her own cosmetic company that I have to file, obviously, because she's underage. I'm also an executive assistant for another company, a credit repair company. And then what's the other thing I do? What? Those are 3 main ones. Those 3. Oh, and I'm trying to think of the other one. And I'm an independent contractor for Total Life Changes. So now I have a 1099. I got executive assistant 1099, Total Life Changes 1099. I have my business that I keep up with through Wix. My daughter's business I keep up through Wix. And I feel like there's one more thing that I have to file. It's one more thing. But anyway, so I filed 4 Schedule C's, plus my EI, plus my W-2, all on the same tax return. I have EIN numbers for all of them. I have business expenses for all of them. So most people be like, "Oh, I gotta file my business taxes." You can file it all under the same tax return. You got an LLC. Don't make it complicated. It's not that deep. Only time you need to do separate is when you got an SCorp. So don't file them separate. You don't need to.
And then should people start an LLC to help offset like any expenses they have? Does it make sense?
Just to do, if you're just doing it just to do write-offs, I would suggest that you don't want to get in trouble with the government. Okay, they will take you to jail. Okay, you want to get a business and it's a legit business. Like, get one. If you're gonna get a business name, get it and use it. Yeah, you can get it. Obviously, nobody can tell you what to write off and how to write off, but this isn't for you to falsify. This is for you to really say, okay, I have this business and I have these write-offs and I want to use this to you don't go into it to reduce your taxable income, but at the end of the day, that's really what happens. So for instance, for me, my business, my income tax business, say we clear $100,000. That's all tax-free money. So now I'm like, okay, I gotta pay taxes on that. That's like $20-some thousand. So my goal is to tell them, what did I have this write-offs? Well, I got employees. Well, I had to pay for these systems. Well, maybe we took a group trip, which we are going to do, so it's just like all of now you start saying, okay, well, I made 100,000, but I had 40,000 in expenses. So you really only can tax me on 60. So that's kind of how it works out when you start getting into, your business and write-offs. But you don't want to just create an LLC just to be writing stuff off. People do it, but they're not supposed to. Because if you get caught, you will get in trouble and you will pay the money back. I had a situation. I was doing somebody's taxes. This has nothing to do with nothing, but it just came to my mind. And I had this girl, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna file taxes, and I need to file head of household." I said, "Well, do you have any kids?" She said, "No, I don't have no kids, but I need to file head of household. I've been filing it for years." I said, "Really? So how have you been filing head of household with no kids?" She said, "Well, my tax preparer do it all the time." I said, "Well, let me see your taxes." So I go on her taxes. This girl is her and her boyfriend. They filed themselves as a qualifying dependent and as an adult. I said, "So you a kid and an adult on the same tax return with your same name and your same social security number?" Now, how this went through the IRS for all these years, she's been doing it for, I think, 4 or 5 years. I said, now, if they catch up to you and all these $4,000 or $5,000 that you've been getting, I want you to multiply that, because that's how much you're going to have to pay back when they catch you. You cannot file yourself as head of household without a child. And you cannot be the child and the parent on the same tax return. You cannot. So if anybody is allowing you to file head of household, I had a friend call me like, "Well, my girlfriend said I don't file head of household." I said, "Y'all both single until you're married, okay? And you don't got no kids, you'll never file head of household ever." So I don't know who I don't know how they got out there, we weren't educated to understand what that means, but you cannot file that without a kid. You can't. It's impossible. Yeah. And if you do, you're doing it wrong.
I hope you guys are listening. So what is the main difference between going to someone like you versus going to H&R Block or doing their own taxes like TurboTax? What are the advantages to having more of a personal, hands-on look at the taxes versus just going to H&R or Jackson Hewitt?
Yeah, them are all the big companies. So those are all big company names, and obviously I want to be as big as them one day. But I will tell you the differences between them. I feel like this is my personal experience when I went to H&R Block. I felt like I was just a number. Like I felt like, all right, next, who we about to do? You come in, you do your stuff. It's a line. You sit over there, you bring your forms, they do it, and you go out the door and you're done. The difference between them and me is I'm going to take the time to explain to you what we're doing. I'm going to tell you what the new benefits are, what the new tax forms that are out, how when you explain to you when you over exceeded your expenses. You're going to go in somewhere and tell them I had $70,000 in expenses. Well, when you start to put in too many expenses, you start to owe. I don't know if you know that. Like, you might start getting money back, but you start owing. So I need people to understand like what the limits are. Like, you want to make sure that you want to do all your write-offs. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want you to come in here and be like, "Yep, everything you could think of, you wrote off. It needs to be within reason so that you don't put yourself in it, because it does teeter totter. And at one point it may go up, but it go down just as fast as it went up when you start expensing yourself. You don't want to do that either. Don't do that. Don't go too far with it. But I'm gonna take the time to explain that to you. Now you go to H&R Block and tell them you got 70,000 expenses. They're gonna be like, all right, you wrote it all down, and now you still owe. They're not gonna tell you that at 30,000 you were still green, and are you sure that you had all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna basically educate you along the way. They're gonna put exactly what you said, and then you're gonna be done. I'm gonna still educate. Now I'm gonna still put what you said, but I want you to understand what's happening and explain it to you along the way so that you can know what it is that you don't. And then on top of that, like, I just want to make sure that everything that's out there that you qualify for, I'm going to educate you. I'm going to tell you. And even for me, if it's a situation where I feel like you better off doing something yourself, I'll show you. If you better off, if you say, you know what, I only got this one tax return, I put it in and I just don't know, I just want you to double check it, I'll check it for you for free. I'm not going to be that person that's always trying to get the money. I'm not here to just get your money. If you want, I encourage people to learn how to do stuff themselves. So if you learn how to do it yourself, then guess what? I'm gonna, if you like, look, I want to learn, I did this, I just want to make sure I ain't make no mistakes. I'll go in there. So I got 5 free minutes. I'm like, girl, give me a login. I'll log in for you. Let me check it real quick. I always tell people I try to do one good deed a day. So that's my one good deed every time. So if you get that one good deed for that day, you that person. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to check your stuff, and I'm going to do it. I won't charge you a thing. So, but that's the kind of stuff that I like to give people that you're not going to get at H&R Block and Jackson Hood. They're not going to check anything. They're like, okay, well, this is the fee. And if you need me to do this, we'll do it. Otherwise, I can't help you. And then on top of that, they charge more. A lot of them places, they charge like $800. $700-800. Some of them more than that, almost $1,000. I don't. We don't charge by the form. A lot of companies do. No shade against nobody that do, because everybody do their stuff differently. This is how I do my business. I don't charge you by the form. I charge a flat fee. You have a personal taxes, you come in, it's $265. That's it. You have business taxes, you come in, it's $365. That's it. Ain't no hidden fees. There's no extra fee to pay with your return. A lot of times you have to pay an extra $50 to pay through your return. We were doing that at first, but I ended up working with the bank, so that ain't even a fee no more. So it's flat fee. That's it. You don't pay nothing. You pay when your return. Now, if you owe the government, I would like you to tell me so I don't lose my money on the back end, because obviously if you owe them, they take it, I won't get paid. So we try to be very honest with each other. I try to, I build a relationship with my tax clients. You're not just a number. Like most of the time, everybody got my personal phone number. You can call me anytime, day or night. If you got any questions, I'm here to help you. You can't call H&R Block and get a person on the phone day or night and ask them anything. You're going to go through these business hours and that's going to be it. They don't care about being your friend. They don't care about building no repertoire with you. They don't care about extending a relationship and, okay, you refer this person over here, bring them in. They don't care about none of that. We do things differently here because I want you to know you're not just a number. Like, you're somebody that's near and dear to me, and I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that's in your best interest. They don't do that. So, yeah.
Okay. Someone said, if you are Bernadette Adams, if you are the head of household, you can file head of household. You do not have to have kids. Is that true?
You cannot file head of household without a qualifying dependent. Try it. It's not going to work. And don't put yourself. If you put yourself, you're going to jail. Okay? Or you're going to have a large tax bill. I've seen people get audited. You don't want them problems. No, don't not file head of household without a child. Now, I will tell you this. Let's say you and your spouse had a kid, and let's say that y'all had joint custody, okay? And let's say they split households, and let's say that one person had to claim them as a dependent, and the other person couldn't. You do know that you can still claim them as a qualifying dependent and not get EIC, but you still both can get head of household. A lot of people don't know that. So just because the other person can claim them for the year, you can still say, well, I take care of that person just as well as they do. Now, you can't put them down. When you look at your 1040, it's still going to look blank, like there's no dependent, but you can still claim head of household and claim them as a qualifying dependent and still get head of household credit. Now, you can't do that. You can't file head of household with no kids. You can't.
So, and that's good information, because a lot of people do that, or you hear people saying, hey, let me borrow your kids for my taxes. Let me.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I don't ask no questions. That's your kid, all right? That's your niece. Okay, I don't. You got the card. Can you prove? All right, we gonna go on. I'm not. Where's the proof? All right, that's your niece. You was your sister's. All right, okay, we done. I'm not going through all that. But yeah, people do it. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you can't really get around it. I'm not about to sit up here and hound you and go through I'm not the police. Now, if you say you took care of this person and they was your kid or your niece or your nephew, your whomever, and you claim them on your taxes, as long as you got some proof they stayed with you or whatever it is, that's all I need, and I'm going to be done. I'm not about to sit here and do 20 questions. I don't have the time or the patience. So, yeah.
But you said that if you do or you don't claim them, which is essential, you have to be in communication and know who's claiming who and who's claiming what.
Mm-hmm.
That can become an issue too.
Yeah,
so,
most of the time they do have that. Most people establish who's doing what.
So how about the individuals like myself? And I was telling you this offline. So for individuals who have an LLC or may have a business and they are looking to invest in properties, or even if you're an individual and you are a gig worker, more specifically talking to my independent contractors, the people that work mostly 1099, and you're looking to obtain a home or an investment property, but at the same time, you're making all this money 1099 tax-free, right? But you don't want to have to pay a lot to Uncle Sam at the end of the year, but you still want to be able to show a profit, show green on your taxes. What are some strategies that individuals who are in this position can implement? Is it best to go ahead and pay Uncle Sam a little bit and just so you show more income? Like, how do you break even or ride that slippery slope? Because for us, we had to show a loss because we were getting our insurance through the healthcare marketplace, and they base that on income. So because of that, like, we didn't show a lot of income, so we can afford monthly health insurance through the marketplace. But it hurt us on the back end. We were still able to get property, but we couldn't qualify for higher, amounts of quality homes, price homes. Excuse me. So what's your advice to individuals who are independent contractors, who may be small business owners? excuse me, who work hard, who don't want to give Uncle Sam all their money, but still want to be able to obtain properties or the luxuries that come with, being a W-2 employee that makes $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year.
So unfortunately, for a small business owner, in order to clear the type of income for buying a home, you're gonna owe. It ain't even much to it. You're gonna owe. If you getting ready to buy a house and they say you need to clear, 60,000, 70,000, or whatever that number is, you're gonna have to pay taxes on that money, unfortunately. Now, I will tell you this: if you were getting ready to buy a house, now is the time to claim that income. I'm gonna tell you why. Because with all of the credits that they're giving, you end up paying hardly nothing. So I had a client, he's a truck driver, and he typically makes like $200,000 a year, tax-free, 1099. He needed to clear like 80 grand on his taxes. Now he makes some money. He had the expenses, but he stopped. He's like, look, I have to say that I have this money. I can't claim all my expenses. With that 7202, now before we did it, he was at 80,000. He was gonna owe like 16, it might even been $17,000. We did that 7202 credit for being off due to COVID. He got them 10 days for him, got them 10 days for his wife, and his son was at his house from October to November. He got 50 days for his child. His tax bill was only $4 grand off just that credit. Oh, he was happy to pay. He was like, y'all can have this $4,000, and he got his house, and he cleared $80,000 in income. So this was the time. If you wanted to buy a house and you needed to show income, this was the year to do it, because he walked away with saving $12,000 that he didn't have to pay because of the credits that we're getting right now.
So how long is that credit gonna be?
It probably is going to be this year and next year. I can't confirm or deny, but definitely I think it's going to be this year now, and I think it's going to be next year. So this will be the time you need to carry the income. you're going to get the lowest tax bill that you ever would in your life is right now. Is right now today. The other thing is a lot of my friends that have businesses like myself, you know, like I said, I cleared, you know what I'm saying, well over 6 figures tax free this year as well. But I have my expenses, but I also have my W-2 money.
See, it offset.
So, and I pay taxes on that. So that's how you offset. So I got friends, like I got a friend, she owned a hair salon, but she got a job too. And she do that to pay taxes to make sure that she offsets her money. So that's kind of how you and she got a dependent too. So that's kind of how you leverage it so that you still can clear the type of money that you want, but not have to pay so much in taxes. So you kind of, you know, just got to kind of make it work. Because if I'm making more money on my self-employed business, not as much, I can increase the amount of money I want taken out of my W-2 money. That way, when it comes time to file, I owe less money on this tax-free money. You see? So that's how you kind of make it work. And luckily for me, I'm able to work from home. I work from home on my corporate job, and I work from home for my personal business. So I just literally switch computers. I move that computer when I'm done and move that one, and I'm good. I don't leave. I don't go nowhere. Everything is happening right here. So yeah,
And
that's how you do it.
We used to pay ourselves through ADP too, so that was one way we did it too, from our business.
Yeah, you can pay yourself. Oh, you can pay yourself. You definitely can pay yourself. You can pay your kids. You can pay any up to $12,000. You know you don't have to file taxes. If you made $12,000 or less, you do not have to file no taxes, honey. And I give my daughter enough money. She is an employee. Okay, I'm writing up wages of $12,000 every year. Every year, and I put enough in her bank account where I feel comfortable enough to say, here, y'all can go check her account. Yes, she is being paid. So yeah, up to $12,000.
Someone wants to know if you have a team in Miami.
I don't, but I'm welcoming teams from everywhere. I want people all over the world. I don't care where you are. I do training. You know, I bring you on. This is not one of those places where you got to pay. I have personal people. You know, I had some company that I was getting ready to join, and he told me I had to pay $5,000 to be a part of his team. I said, no, I will not. I will figure out how to do it myself. Here at AccuTax, we do not charge you to join. It's free. Only thing you need to do is bring yourself an open mind. If you got some education, we get you in the system. I get you in the system. You get your email address. You got to get your P10 from the IRS. That's going to cost you $39. I pay for you your business cards, ship them to you so you can have them. I'll teach you the systems. I already paid for the systems. The system is free. You just cannot have no MacBook. You have to have an HP or some other computer. I teach you the ropes. I show you the systems. You get in. I don't charge you off of your returns. I don't cut. Some places charge you half. I don't do that. Whatever fee that you charge, I only charge you $50 off of your return. So if you charge somebody $500 and that's your rate, you give me $50. That's your money. I don't charge you anything. I do not. That's not how we do business around here. I know a lot of companies that do that. So just an FYI. So if you are interested, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. You can DM me. You can call me at 678-744-4044. Text me, call me, however, and I will be happy to have you on my team. I sure will.
I'm going to drop all that. I'm going to drop all that information in the comments and your email address too. I'm going to put that in the comments as well so people can reach out to you. And I love what you're doing. And that is awesome because there are so many people who are looking for ways to generate income and looking for ways to help people and be of service to people. Mm-hmm. And you have an awesome opportunity and you've been able to leverage your experience and your knowledge and put yourself in a position where you can employ people and help other people do the same thing. Because I was talking to some of your coworker, and I was telling her, you need to talk to LaToya and learn how to help independent contractors, because I feel like that is where, individuals need a lot of assistance. They're gig workers, mm-hmm. They're Uber, they Lyft, they do experiential marketing, do events, but they just don't understand how taxes work and how to make the system work for them. So I applaud you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
For being of service to so many people and for just taking the time to come on tonight and to speak to me. So guys, now we don't see this this is a rarity where we see individuals coming on, hiring experts, coming on, hiring people. And willing to not only share their knowledge and expertise, but want to have others join the team. So thank you
Yes,
so much.
please, please.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
gonna
I would
drop your
love to have
information.
people.
So
Thank you, and thanks for having me. I appreciate you. I hope you guys learned something, maybe a little something. You got educated on something. If you have something that you still got dire questions about, just please, you can hit me up. There's a lot of things that we didn't even discuss or hit on. But I can literally get into the details about, especially being a small business owner and, taking advantage of everything. Like everything is a write-off with advertisement costs, materials, supplies, repairs to your car, your cell phone bill, your miles, your gas, your trips, your everything. All of that stuff is fair game. Never want to short yourself. Make sure you always thinking out the box about how you can, leverage, what I'm saying, that taxable income. That's the name of the game. Making sure that you're in tune with everything that's out, all the new tax rules, all the tax laws. Make sure you're educating yourself, especially if you're doing your taxes yourself. If you pulling money from your retirement, making sure that you got an exception code so that you're not being taxed to the max. If you under 59 and a half, you need to know how to do that. Like, it's a lot of things that go into play. So just make sure that you're very, very, if you're doing it yourself, make sure you educate yourself. If you don't, go get somebody that knows. And if I don't know, I'm gonna send you. Like I told you, I don't do corporate taxes, but I got somebody who do, and she real good at it, and I will definitely send you to the expert. But I'm not afraid to say I don't know how to do that. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of things, and I can educate you and I can help you. And again, if you want to join, come join. I'm always accepting new people anywhere, everywhere. I swear. And thanks for joining. Thanks for asking me.
So two more questions. Three
Go ahead, shoot.
pieces of advice. One first question is this: what's the 3 pieces of advice you would give somebody regarding taxes? Anything like that you've seen, mistakes, things you've seen in the years you've been doing taxes. What's the first 3 things that come to mind that you would say?
3. 1, if you're a small business owner, don't short yourself. Make sure that you understand your advantages, because there's a lot of them when you're a business owner. Okay. 2nd, go to somebody who knows what they're doing and know what they're talking about. Don't go to your co-worker that's like, yeah, they doing everybody's taxes on the side. And like I said, the girl who was been claiming herself as a dependent, you cannot do that. You need to go to somebody that you truly educated on tax returns. They have enough business. They don't like, girl, I could do it. No, don't go to her or him. No, please don't. The 3rd thing is, oh God, I don't even know what to do. Just be careful of, like, just making mistakes. One small mistake can cause you to get into an audit, and it can cause you to owe the government. You got to make sure. Oh God, this one right here. You cannot decide when you're going to file tax forms. Okay. I had one guy yesterday. He was like, well, I pulled my retirement, but I'm already getting 6,000 back. I'm going to file that form next year. I said, you cannot file a 2020 form on a 2021 return. You cannot do that. And whoever told you that, you need to go hit them in the head, because you cannot do that. He's like, I can just add it to the next year. No, you can't. You tax forms for that year have to be filed with that year. Do not do that. You will get in so much trouble, and you will put yourself in the audit, and you're going to be in a hole you cannot dig out of. Don't do that. And don't listen to nobody who told you can do that, because that is wrong. If you don't know, ask. Now that y'all know me, ask me. You can DM me, ask me. Like I said, I do my one good deed. Sometimes I do 2, but I usually do one good deed a day, and I don't have a problem answering questions. Even if you don't come to me, I don't care. I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to educate you. So if you got a question, ask me if you're unsure. So yeah.
And then
that's
the
it.
IRS, you have how many years from when you filed to get audited? What is the gap in there? The IRS can come back and audit you.
Honey, I don't think it's a time frame. I'm gonna tell you why. I had an aunt who filed her taxes, and unfortunately her husband passed last year. May he rest in peace. And she filed their taxes. Well, I filed her taxes, and they sent her a tax bill from 2006 and told her he owed $400 and she needed to pay it.
Wow.
Okay, so don't think it used to be okay. Well, they ain't gonna do nothing 3 years or 7 years. 2006 was what? How many years ago? 15. They sent her a bill, swear, and told her it was $400. So we had to do go back and do a inter-spouse form to show that she didn't owe that money. But yeah, they tried to get her to pay something from 2006. And this just happened like a couple weeks ago. So I don't know what the time frame is, because I never thought that she would get a bill from 15 years old, but the government don't care. They want their money.
Wow.
So I don't know. So that's just give you an example. At least 15 years, I can tell you that. I don't know if it's 20, but it's definitely up to 15.
And last question. Outside of doing taxes, outside of being a multi-business owner, what are some hobbies? Like, what do you do for fun? Like when you're not sitting behind a computer?
I travel. I like to go everywhere. Matter of fact, I'm going out of the country next week. I go everywhere. I want to go everywhere. I have a passport. I just love to travel. I
Where
love
you
water.
going?
I'm going to Puerto Rico. So that ain't really out the country. That's still in the United States. But taking my daughter for spring break, and her friend don't have a passport. My daughter has one, but we don't. So I just travel. I love to go everywhere. Every year I go. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see like I'm always going somewhere. If there's a beach involved, I'm a Cancer, so I love water. I love water. I'm here for the water. So I love beach. I love blue. I love the ocean. So I'm always, you know, somewhere on the water. You go on my Instagram too. It's Miss.LaToya Lee, LaToyalee. You can follow me. I'll follow you back.
Cool.
So, yeah. But yes,
well,
traveling.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. I love traveling.
Yeah. And I have a 15-year-old. My daughter, that's my blue. I don't know where she at. She's somewhere. But yeah, I have a little girl. Well, she's not little. She's like my size. But I have a daughter, and you know, and a dog somewhere around here. But yeah, I have a daughter, and you know, I spend a lot of time with her. Matter of fact, we went to dinner before we came, so I can, you know, have my time with my baby. She'll be 16 this year, so yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you are still in need of tax preparation, for all of you who may not have filed your taxes yet, you have until June. They extended it.
Yeah, they changed the date. I thought it was May 15th, and I think they just changed it again. I have to look. They change it every day. I will tell you this: if you don't owe the government, even if you filed your taxes in November, they're not gonna pay. You're not gonna get penalized. Just so you know. So don't be like, oh my God, I gotta file. You should technically file an extension, but with the way that the IRS has been running lately, they're not penalizing nobody. You can do your tax from 2018 right now, and they not penalizing. They so back. I'm not encouraging you to do that, but I'm just being honest. Like they're not penalizing anybody right now. They are doing random checks though, because there's a lot of fraud going on. So if you do your taxes, they're doing you may have to do an IP pin, which is an identity protection pin number. People are randomly getting selected for that. They're also doing identity verification. They're holding people tax returns up to 10 weeks, sometimes 16. And there's really no reason why, but they're doing it because they're trying to make sure that you are who you say you are. So if you do get an identity IP pin alert, don't be alarmed. It's just, this is like the protocol right now because there's just so much happening and they just trying to cover themselves. So yeah.
Someone said you look like you look and sound like Lala.
Do you know, people tell me that every day. Ironically, her birthday is June 25th and mine is June 23rd. And I promise you I'm going to meet her one day. But everybody tells me that if I had $1 for every time somebody told me that I look and sound like her, I would be rich. Very, 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 very rich. Swear.
That's your twin.
That's my girl.
Your Cancer twin.
Yeah, so if you know her, tell her I need to meet her because people tell me that me and her sound and look alike every day.
Well, thank you so much, Miss James, for joining me. Guys, if you need any assistance with your someone said you are her twin. Thank you for joining me tonight. Miss James is going to be offering her services. If you mention my name, Jay Davis, just mention, hey, Jay sent me, or Jay Davis sent me. She's going to be offering you 15% off of your tax services that you may need. So definitely take advantage of this. And thank you guys so much for joining us. And thank you, Miss James, again. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye, you guys.